Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital spoilers allude that Sonny Corinthos may get vengeance on Jen Sidwell. Will Sidwell's Laura Collins setup push the mob master too far? After Laura wound up reeling over Professor Henry Hank Dalton's body in her box, she called Sonny to help her deal with it. Sonny summoned Jason Morgan to get relief of the cadaver and make sure there was no trace of dead Dalton left in Laura's auto. Meanwhile, Sonny and Laura milled over who might have been before all this Dalton drama. Laura settled on Sidwell as the most likely malefactor, so Sonny may be inclined to agree with her. This may feel like a move right up Sidwell's alley as far as Sonny's concerned. GH spoilers suggest Sonny may defy Sidwell at some point, but Sidwell isn't the type to admit any guilt in situations like this. Indeed so, Sidwell may tease Sonny and let him know Laura's proposition is exactly right without actually confessing to anything. Anyhow, Sonny may feel confident that Sidwell is responsible and cloud over all the trauma he just put Laura through. Laura should have been happily celebrating her election palm, not chancing the professor she hovered before in her own box. Of course, the good part of all this is that Sonny wanted Dalton to evaporate anyway. This should lead to Rocco Falconeri's case getting dropped, so Sonny will at least be pleased about that. Still, Dalton's exposure could make trouble for Sonny since ADA Justine Turner and others in Port Charles may assume Jason pulled a detector on him. Plus, Laura is a good friend of Sonny's, so he'll detest the fact that she's had to endure all this. Sonny will do everything in his power to make sure Laura stays out of legal hot water, but this will be a tense situation each around. Sonny preliminarily pumped the thickets when Jason suggested about wiping Sidwell off the chart, but he may re-evaluate the idea. Although Sonny suggested killing Sidwell demanded to be a last resort, he may decide it's time to move forward with that last resort soon enough. The Measure C vote went Sonny's way and means he gets to keep his peers, but Sidwell isn't going to give up. Sonny will surely realize that and worry about which one of his favored bones might get targeted next. A grim discovery, while Drew Kane proposes to Willow Tate again. Also, Lulu Spencer wants answers, and Portia Robinson has a new reason to worry. Usurpations on Thursday and Friday. We should begin by letting you know that there will be only 3 occurrences of GH this week. Those are on Monday, November 24th, Tuesday, November 25th, and Wednesday, November 26th. Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, November 27th and Friday, November 28th will be sports usurpations. New occurrences will return on Monday, December 1st. Should commodity do that, the planned sports events do be, generally ABC will have repeats. Sonny's grim discovery. Laura receives a warning on Monday, November 24th. Sonny will make a grim discovery after he's just had Jason Morgan dispose of the one in Laura Collins' trunk. As for Laura, she'll admit a warning, and it looks like it's from Sonny. He tells her she's putting both of them on the police radar. Away, acting PCPD Commissioner Dante Falconeri will make a pledge. In the meantime, Carly Spencer will encounter her son Jocelyn Jacks. And at the sanitarium, Lucas Jones will modernize Elizabeth Baldwin. Drew proposes again. Michael Corinthos is enraged on Tuesday, November 25th. Drew proposes to Willow again, and going by a Skulk Peep print of the scene in Soap Opera Digest, she doesn't look too impressed. Away, Michael Corinthos is maddened over commodity. Nina Reeves will make an admission. Maybe that's what enrages Michael? In the meantime, Elizabeth will go to club for Willow, and be a source of support. Away, Britt Westbourne encounters commodity or someone and is floored. Portia's new reason to solicitude. Lulu wants answers. Wednesday, November 26th. Portia will have a new reason to worry. She's formerly dealing with Stella Henry, trying to move Curtis Ashford to make their marriage work. In the meantime, Lulu finds herself wanting answers. Might this be the day that Rocco Falconeri's hail takes place? His appellant, Professor Henry Dalton, faded from the face of the earth. What will be to Rocco's charges? Back with Stella, she's on the warpath over commodity, and Nathan West surprises Dante Falconeri. And commodity will leave Harrison Chase and Brooke Lynn Quartermain stunned. What in the world could that be? Michael Corinthos is wrecked. Laura Spencer is indicted of conceivably killing someone. And a couple of usurpations to tell you about. This is also the end of November sweeps coming up, plus we've got Thanksgiving week. As we always do on Early Edition Day, We start with what's coming this week and also talk about what's ahead coming week. General Hospital spoilers Wednesday, November 19th. Jason upset and Emma furious on Wednesday, November 19th. We've got Jason Morgan asking Alexis Davis if she really thinks Danny Morgan and Charlotte Cassadine can save Rocco Falconeri. We've heard a little bit about this earlier in the week, but she and Rick Lansing plan to principally put Hank Dalton on trial for filing a false police report. But will the acting DA, Justine Turner, believe several kiddies over one veritably tone-important experimenter, Hank Dalton? Danny asks Charlotte if she has a way to make that be, and he thinks she does. This could be about them saving Rocco. Also, Vaughn processed Jocelyn Jacks. Now, he's veritably upset about the peril she's in, but Joss doesn't care. I do wonder if it's about the Dalton case that she had been pulled from, because also on Wednesday at the Brown Dog Bar, Jocelyn is flirting with Dalton and asking him if he wants to get out of there. We've seen him flirt with the youngish ladies. He's easily a creep. GH spoilers Lulu terrified and Dante goes too far plus, Lulu Spencer Bruning opens up to Nathan West. I'm sure part of it's about her stress about Rocco facing some time in juvie and perhaps a little bit about how he's getting too close to Nathan's family, Britt Westbourne. The election results are in. We've Drew Kane writing Laura, and he seems to allude at her losing. Commodity infuriates Emma Scorpio. Drake, and it may be how poorly Dante Falconeri is treating Gio Palmieri. Flashback how bad Dante was when Rocco and Danny were at that party, and also Rocco got drunk? That was in no way Joe's fault. He actually saved him. And now Dante is amping up. This is a situation where Gio demanded some review, but Dante's not being a good pater. Meanwhile, Sidwell asks Britt what she wants him to do and also tells her he's going to be her rescuer. He may deal with Dalton for her in a veritably dangerous way and save Rocco. General Hospital spoilers what happens to Dalton? I do, and suppose Britt is going to feel bad if Commodity happens to Dalton. And I suppose Commodity is going to be to him. Sonny Corinthos is asking someone if they can do this for him. And he may be talking to acting DA Justine. Perhaps just hear to these kiddies and take an alternate look. Plus, Dalton no way mentioned that the lab was trashed when he was talking to Laura and the police originally. It was just that he broke into the lab. You'd suppose if he trashed a lab, he'd say he broke in and trashed the lab. That's not the kind of thing that you forget casually when you're criminating someone of big crimes. General Sanitarium spoilers shocking discovery rocks Port Charles. Is Laura a prime suspect? Thursday, November 20th, we've got Laura making a shocking discovery. And she might find Dalton's body. That'd be enough clever. Sidwell could take out Dalton and also condemn it on Laura. And in case she did get re-elected, that might put an end to it. Nathan is standing at Laura's auto window this week talking to her. She's weeping and looks distraught, so Nathan may be working a crime scene. Laura has to stay to make a statement and is frightened by what she sees. Sidwell tells Notoriety this week, "This is what happens when you betray me," and he may well be talking to Dalton. Sidwell told him to drop the whole thing with the thievery. And he wouldn't. He's easily out of control. Laura hovered Dalton this week and struck him physically in front of a room full of press at the Pates. So, if Dalton turns up dead, Laura is going to be the top suspect because of this whole Rocco and Dalton reproach. Laura might be in trouble on General Hospital. It's getting veritably intriguing. They're doing up the end of Reach's right. Sonny shows up at the Metro Court Eatery as Jacinda Bracken and Michael are out on a regale date. And Michael introduces Jacinda to Sonny. We'll see if his pater gives Michael the thumbs up. I'm kind of allowing he may not. Harrison Chase makes big progress in his disquisition. And it looks like he digs in the right spot to find out where Jacinda really was the night Drew was shot and who she was with, because that cracks Michael's justification. Away, Britt is rattled. That may be because Sidwell casually kills Dalton, and perhaps Britt worries that she might be on the mincing block at some point also. Marco Rios and Lucas Jones have regale with Ava Jerome on Thursday. And I wonder if it's going to be at Windmere and if Ava is going to keep getting near to Sidwell. Family admissions and defenses deteriorate on GH Friday, November 21st. We've got Gio having a heart-to-heart with Sonny. Joe's eaten up with guilt about not being around for his granddad Ned Quartermain more since he set up out that was his granddad and also him having this coronary. He feels bad that Rocco was arrested and is at threat for captivity. There's just a whole lot going on, and I'm sure Gio is going to tell Sonny how furious Dante is with him. Fortunately, he's talking to the right person because Sonny has been on the entering end of Dante's abomination, like when he shot him in the casket right before he set up out that was his son. So, Sonny's a good bone for Gio to get advice from. Also, Jason has some questions for Britt, and it may be about her involvement with Dalton when the Joe turns up dead, as I suspect he might. That's not verified yet, however. Marco makes a big decision, and I wonder if he's going to flip over and start doing dirty, illegal stuff with his pater. Sidwell. Before, Marco has tried to stick to the right side of the law. But that may any changing. Alexis gets a huge update from Chase on Friday. He tells Alexis that he can prove Michael is lying about his justification. I surely suppose Chase set up out Jacinda's real customer, and it may in fact be Ezra Boyle, who may in fact have just been tagged mayor. Michael is trying hard to keep the peace as the week shuts down. Thanksgiving week drama, GH usurpations and major fallout ahead. Coming week, November 24th through the 28th on General Hospital. We've Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with new occurrences, but we anticipate usurpations on Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, for sports content. Lots and lots of football, and boo to that. I'd rather see my cleaner. Tracy Quartermain's still out of city. I do anticipate her back soon because of Ned's health extremity. Valentine Cassadine is heading to a U.S. captivity, and also he and Carly Corinthos Spencer can really scheme to wreck Jack Brennan. Jocelyn was close to Dalton just before he was killed. Will someone flash back that she left the bar with him if that's how it goes, and also he turns up dead? Ned's heart extremity has the Q family stressed out and bothered and is going to shake up Thanksgiving this time. Alexis is thrilled that Chase can break Michael's justification, so she needs to go over and talk to the DA. Alexis can also point the DA to Portia Robinson having a big motive and no justification. Meanwhile, Willow Tate also had no justification, but she really didn't have a motive, and the firing victim says he doesn't suppose she did it. So, Alexis may get those pesky charges dropped soon. Michael and Jacinda get in deeper. Drew is rapturous that Willow is out of Pentonville, but will she turn him down for spending the leaves together? And we anticipate major fallout from the election results. In the treacherous landscape of Port Charles, where political ambition collides with criminal enterprise, a single act of violence can trigger a seismic chain reaction. The discovery of Professor Hank Dalton's corpse in Mayor Laura Collins' trunk is more than a shocking cliffhanger. It is the ignition of a complex war that will pit the city's most powerful figures against a shadowy and ruthless new adversary. This event forces alliances into the open, tests familial bonds, and pushes a notorious mob boss to the brink of a decision that could redefine the city's underworld. As one crisis seemingly resolves with Dalton's disappearance, a dozen more erupt in its wake, ensuring that no one, from the mayor's office to the hospital corridors, will be left untouched. The aftermath of a trunk, containing a crisis and unleashing a fury. Laura Collins' post-election triumph has curdled into pure, unadulterated terror. The grisly discovery of her recent antagonist, Professor Dalton, stuffed in her car is a masterstroke of psychological warfare, designed to shatter her composure and implicate her in a capital crime. In this moment of absolute crisis, her instinct is telling, she turns to Sonny Corinthos. This call is a testament to the deep, unconventional, yet unshakable trust between the mayor and the mob boss. It underscores a fundamental truth of Port Charles: when the official systems of justice and order are either too slow, too corrupt, or too easily manipulated, the power brokers operating in the shadows are often the only ones who can provide swift, decisive action. Sonny's response is immediate and characteristically efficient. He summons his most trusted lieutenant, the legendary Jason Morgan, to perform a grim but necessary task: make the body and any evidence connecting it to Laura vanish without a trace. This act serves two immediate purposes for Sonny. First, it protects his friend, shielding her from a frame-up that would end her career and land her in prison for life. Second, it conveniently solves the problem of Dalton himself, a man whose continued presence was a direct threat to Sonny's grandson, Rocco. With Dalton gone, the case against Rocco for the lab trashing is almost certain to collapse, as the sole accuser and key witness has now disappeared. However, this solution creates a dangerous new web of problems. The disappearance of a public figure like Dalton so soon after a very public confrontation with the mayor will inevitably draw suspicion. The Port Charles Police Department, PCPD, and the District Attorney's Office, particularly ADA Justine Turner, will logically connect the dots leading directly to Sonny. They will assume, not incorrectly from their perspective, that Jason Morgan was dispatched to permanently silence the professor. Sonny has, in effect, traded one threat for another, exchanging the immediate danger to Laura for a potential murder investigation aimed squarely at his own organization. The calculated provocation, why Sidwell is painting a target on his own back. The brilliance and the arrogance of Jen Sidwell's scheme lie in its multi-layered provocation. Laura correctly deduces that Sidwell is the architect of her nightmare. His motives are a cold calculus of corporate strategy. By framing Laura, he accomplishes several objectives simultaneously. He eliminates a political obstacle. Laura has consistently blocked Sidwell's ambitions to control the city's peers and undermine Sonny's territory. Her refusal to use eminent domain and the failure of Measure C demonstrated her as an immovable object. Incarcerating her on murder charges would remove her from power, likely installing the pliable and corrupt Ezra Boyle as mayor, thus clearing the path for Sidwell's economic takeover. He sends a message to Sonny. Sidwell is well aware of the alliance between the mayor and the mob boss. By targeting Laura so brazenly, he is not merely going around Sonny, he is moving directly through him. It is a declaration of war, a signal that Sidwell does not fear Sonny's reputation and is willing to attack his closest allies to achieve his goals. He is systematically dismantling Sonny's support system. He tightens his grip on Britt. As the sole witness to Dalton's murder, Britt Westbourne is now utterly terrified and psychologically imprisoned. Sidwell's act, coupled with his control over her Huntington's medication, has transformed her from a reluctant partner into a cowed subordinate. Her sass has been extinguished, replaced by the mortal fear that she could be next. Sonny's impending confrontation with Sidwell is therefore inevitable. Sidwell, a master of psychological manipulation, will likely not confess. Instead, he will employ veiled threats and smug insinuations, confirming Laura's theory without providing any admissible evidence. For a man of Sonny's pride and temperament, this is the ultimate insult. It is one thing to be challenged in business, it is another to have a friend like Laura subjected to such profound trauma. The image of the respected mayor, sobbing over a corpse in her trunk, will fuel a rage in Sonny that mere business rivalry could never inspire. This moves the conflict from the boardroom to the deeply personal. The shifting sands, Sonny's moral calculus and the last resort. Sonny Corinthos is a complex figure who operates within a strict, albeit criminal, moral code. He has previously shown restraint regarding Sidwell, pumping the brakes when Jason suggested their ultimate solution, assassination. Sonny understands that killing a powerful, corporate figure like Sidwell carries immense risk, potentially uniting all his enemies, from the PCPD to the WSB, against him in a way that a street war never could. However, the framing of Laura represents a fundamental escalation that may force Sonny to redefine his last resort. Sidwell has proven he will not stop at business sabotage or political maneuvering. He is willing to destroy innocent lives and fabricate murder charges to get what he wants. The question Sonny must now grapple with is not if Sidwell is a threat, but how far he is willing to go. If Sidwell can do this to the mayor of Port Charles, what will he do to Carly, to Michael, to Jocelyn? The safety of his loved ones is Sonny's ultimate priority, and Sidwell has just demonstrated that no one in Sonny's orbit is safe. Sonny's warning to Laura, that she is putting them both on the police radar, is a moment of stark realism. It highlights the precarious tightrope they both walk. Laura's call to Sonny, while her only logical choice in the moment, has inextricably linked her crisis to his world. The PCPD, led by her own son-in-law, Dante, will now be investigating both the missing professor and the mayor's possible involvement, with Sonny's shadow looming large over both. This shared peril could forge an even stronger, more dangerous alliance between them as they prepare to face down a common enemy. A tapestry of turmoil, other Port Charles plots weave a complex web. While the Sidwell-Laura-Sonny conflict takes center stage, the rest of Port Charles continues to simmer with its own dramas, each one reflecting the city's interconnected chaos. Drew's proposal and Michael's rage. Drew Kane's renewed proposal to Willow Tate, likely born from a desire to provide stability after her ordeal, seems poised for rejection. Willow's journey through incarceration has hardened her and clarified her independence. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos's rage could stem from multiple sources: Nina's potential admission about her past manipulations, or the escalating crisis with his alibi for the night Drew was shot. The support Elizabeth Liz Baldwin offers Willow signifies the importance of female friendship and solidarity amidst the romantic turmoil. The crumbling alibi. Harrison Chase's investigation is barreling toward a truth that could shatter Michael's world. Uncovering that Jacinda Bracken was with the potentially newly elected Mayor Ezra Boyle the night of the shooting doesn't just break Michael's alibi, it implicates a high-ranking city official in a sordid scandal. If this revelation comes to light after Laura is potentially removed from office, it could mean Port Charles loses 2 mayors in rapid succession, plunging the city into an unprecedented governance crisis. Lulu's quest and Rocco's fate. Lulu Spencer's desperate search for answers revolves around her son. With Dalton vanished, the legal proceedings against Rocco are thrown into disarray. While this likely means the charges will be dropped, it also creates a vacuum of official justice, leaving a family trauma unresolved. This storyline powerfully mirrors the central theme: when the system fails, individuals are forced to take matters into their own hands, for better or worse. Britt's terrified complicity. Britt Westbourne's appalled reaction is a window into the human cost of Sidwell's machinations. She is not just a co-conspirator, she is a victim of coercion and terror. Her encounters, whether with Jason's probing questions or the grim reality of her situation, highlight the collateral damage of this war. She is trapped in a gilded cage, forced to continue her father's dark work under the threat of death. Portia's domestic anxiety. On a smaller, but no less poignant scale, Portia Robinson's worries about her marriage to Curtis Ashford, exacerbated by Stella's meddling, represent the personal battles that continue even as the city teeters on the brink. It is a reminder that life, with all its relationship anxieties and family disputes, goes on. Thanksgiving interlude, a calm before the storm. The preemptions for Thanksgiving week create a natural narrative pause, a collective holding of breath for the citizens of Port Charles. The truncated episode schedule forces a condensation of the drama, ensuring that the days leading up to the holiday will be packed with escalating tension. This pause is deceptive, however. It is not a cessation of conflict, but a period of gestation. Sonny will be stewing on his next move. Laura will be grappling with the legal and emotional fallout. Sidwell will be watching, waiting, and undoubtedly planning his next offensive. The fallout from the election, the disintegration of Michael's alibi, the mystery of Ned Quartermain's health, and the fates of Rocco and the other teens, all of these threads are left dangling, ready to be pulled when the show returns. The stage is set for an explosive December, where the carefully constructed frames and alliances will be tested. The central question remains: will Sonny Corinthos, pushed beyond his limits by an attack on his friend and his family, decide that Jen Sidwell has finally become a problem that can only be solved with a last resort? The answer will determine the fate of the city and everyone in it.